This video covers how to do Unit 3, Lesson 22, Collisions. Let's start on the overview page. On the overview page, you will see your learning goals, how that you are going to learn how to do different types of interactions between sprites. So you need to go through all the content and lesson materials and do the activities. Go ahead and click Next. So in the last lesson, you learned about collision detections and how to create more complex sprite movement. In this lesson, you're going to program sprites to interact in new ways. So you're going to review the isTouching block that you've learned about previously, and then you're going to get practice with 4 new collision blocks that you can apply to your sprites. So you're going to have the bounce, bounce off, collide, and displace. And then you also have the bounciness, and then you should be familiar with the set collider block. Click Next to go to the next page. And here in this part of the lesson is you can clearly see how to use displace with this line right here with bunny displace caret. You can see that happening on the right hand side. You have the collide block being shown right here with the alien colliding with the monster. What happens? That's like a obstacle. You have the bounce. So you have several of these lines right here where you've got giraffe bounces off the hippo, elephant bounces off the pig, and the snake bounces off the monkey. Then you have a bounce off example where the note bounces off the guitar. So you can see how those codes on the left, what exactly happens on the right. Once you look at that and read through that, then click Next to go to the assignment. So here's the assignment. Go ahead and click Collisions and make a copy of that worksheet. And so here you can see, here's your worksheet. We're going to put your share link or your answer. And let's go to code.org. Here we are in code.org. Unit 3, Lesson 22, Collisions. We're on Level 1. This is just going to show you an example of what these sprite interactions. You know how to use the sprite isTouching block. We've used that before. But now we want our sprites to have a little more complex interactions with each other. So we're going to run the program and observe these interactions between the two sprites. Then we're going to talk about what we see occurring. So when you click Run, you've got the giraffe going towards the monkey, and when they touch, the monkey now moves in the same velocity direction as the hippo. So you think about which blocks were used here. Well, we use the isTouching, and you would want to use the velocity x because it's going, to the right, and then those blocks are being used. So go to Level 2 now at the top. Here in Level 2, this is the code for that same type of program we just saw, but there's something wrong. It doesn't work. So when the giraffe touches the monkey, now the monkey doesn't work. So we need to look at our code here, and you need to figure out which block you're going to use. And you see down here on line 16, it says Update Sprites. So it wants you to put that block of code that you need actually below this in line 17. I'm going to give you a hint. You're going to have an if statement. So I will give you that starting hint. You have to have an if statement, and then you're going to be using the isTouching, and then you're going to be using the velocity x. Okay, so also another hint. Up here on line 4, if the giraffe is moving, velocity x of 1, think about what velocity x of the monkey do you want to use down here in your if statement. So you've got both of these blocks of code, the velocity x and the isTouching, are going to go in this if statement. Make sure that you choose the right sprite that is touching the target. So is the giraffe the sprite, and the monkey the target, or is it the other way around? So once you have this program working, it's the same program that you saw the example in level 1 if you want to go back and look at that. But when the giraffe touches the monkey needs to start moving to the right. So everything goes in this if statement. When you're done, click that share button, get your link, and paste it into your assignment. Then go to level 3. Here in level 3, it's the same concept as you just did in level 2. And now let's run this. It says now the elephant should push the hippo off the screen. Notice that the elephant moves at a random y velocity. Okay, so we just did x, now we're doing y. So on level 2 and on level 1, it was showing along velocity x. So this is the same type of program, same type of if statement you're going to make, but instead of using velocity x, you're going to use velocity y. So remember, down here it says run the program, see how it works, and then using the patterns that from the last levels, write code that makes the elephant push the hippo off the screen. So you obviously know you should start off with that if statement and put that down here below where it says update sprites, and then you're going to use velocity x, or sorry, velocity y, because you're going up and down, and the is touching. Once you've got this working, then you would click the share button, copy your link, and paste it in your assignment and go to level 4. Here we are in level 4. This is called displace, so you're going to learn a new block. So because that interaction that we've been doing, the if statement, that where it says if and then is touching, then move that sprite either velocity x or velocity y. Because that's such a common coding that they decided just to make one code block for it called sprite displace instead of using that if statement. So now you see the sprite displace code block right there. So when we run this, it says there's a bug in it. So someone tried to use the sprite displace block to make the elephant push the hippo, but there's a bug. Let's reset and run that again. We've got the hippo pushing the elephant when it needs to be the elephant pushing the hippo. So you need to go down here where it has on line 18 where it shows that displace block, and you need to figure out what's the bug. What needs to change in this code block to make the elephant push the hippo? Once you've got that figured out, make sure you click the share button, get your link, and paste that link into your assignment paper. And then go to level 5. And then this is on more collision blocks. So here you're going to learn 3 more. That was the displace block that we just learned on the last level. Now you have the collide, the bounce, and the bounce off. So down here what they're asking you to do is switch out the displace block and try out what happens when collide works, what happens when you use bounce, what happens when you use bounce off. So all you're doing is you're just trying out these 4 different collision blocks. So here's the display. So all it's asking you to do is drag that off and try out another one. And then make sure you put the right sprite name here and the target sprite name here. And then run it to see what happens. So when you need to write that down and note what happens when I choose displace, what happens when I choose collide, what happens when I choose the bounce. So after you look at that one, then I can choose the collide and see what happens when the collide works. And then after the collide, I can choose what the bounce off works, how that works. So this is just you testing out each one of these collision blocks to see what happens. When you've got that working, click your share button, get your link, and paste it in your assignment and go to level 6. This is your practice. So on this one, you get to choose one. Let's go back to practice. It says choose one. Level 6. So you're either going to choose making the basketball bounce off the wooden floor, or on B, you're going to make the arrow stop at the apple. On C, make one cart push the other. Or in D, you can help her push the suitcase. These are all just using those blocks, the displace or the bounce off or the collide. So you get to choose which one of these you want to do. And when you've completed that one, either A, B, C, or D, then you would click the share button, get the link, and then paste it back onto your assignment page back over here. And then go to level 7. Level 7 is kind of putting it all together. If you look in the upper right here, I would suggest you take a piece of paper and write down the interactions that you need to occur between these sprites. So for example, the top one is the giraffe with the red bird, and they have to, when they touch, they got to go different directions. So what is that? Which code block is that? And then down below that you have the hippo and the elephant, and the hippo pushes the elephant when they touch. So you got to figure out what code block you're going to use there to make it happen. And then the third one is the rabbit and the monkey, and the monkey, when they touch, pushes the rabbit to the left. And then you got the snake and the pig, and when they touch, the snake bounces off the pig. So then you got to go down into this code here, and you need to choose the sprite interaction that matches the target on the image, that matches the target image on the right. So I just went over that and talked about it with you. So you have your codes right here. You got your bounce, bounce off, collide, and displace. And you're going to put those within your draw function. Okay, so once you've got that fixed, then you would click your share button and copy that link and then paste it into your assignment for level 7. And then we need to go to level 8, which is the challenge. So on the challenge, you would choose A or B or C. You do not choose free play. So A is debug colliders, or you can do B, which is collider shape, or you can do C to control how much the sprites bounce when they interact. So on this one, I really like the C, but on this one, it's when they interact with that floor. Okay, then you can control how much they bounce off the floor. So either you can choose A or B or C. And then after you've completed that, then you would click the share link and then copy that link and paste it into your assignment. And that is it for lesson 22 on collisions. Just remember, you can always go back to previous lessons to get help.